After you've completed creating your author files, we're ready to use them to create a package of particular authors and use that to test a document. There are two folders that you downloaded from the website, and we're going to start with creating a package of authors that we want to use to test a document. To do this, we need to enter the authors that you created files for in your computer. In the top left, you'll see a browse button, or you can just hit Alt-B to access it. And what this is going to do is bring you into your computer. So at this point, wherever you saved your author folder containing all the author files, you want to go to that place. So on my computer, I saved it. I have all my authors saved under all authors, and I'm opening that folder, and that gives me all my author files for each author. To put that into the software, you need to just hit the open button on the bottom right, or else just hit enter, and it will do the same thing, and all your authors will be appearing on the left side of the box of the package generator. Notice that they are all check marked, so we want to uncheck each one because we don't want to use all your authors at one time. You might want to for a particular test if you only did a handful of authors, but over the long haul, if you're going to be testing against different authors, you want to be able to select only the ones you want for a particular document. We are using the Federalist Papers as an example of how to test a document, so I'm going to want authors who could have possibly have written one of the Federalist Papers. So I have to deselect all these. To do that, you can just hit spacebar or hit the select all button on top, and all the check marks are gone. Now we want to go back and select the ones that are relevant. You can tab down to highlight each author and select by the spacebar, or you can just simply click on each author. I'm going to pick Gouverneur Morris, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison. Those are four of the most likely people. There could be others, and if you want to keep testing on the Federalist Papers, for example, I would create all other possible people that were around New York area or communicating with these other people who we know have written some of the Federalist Papers, like Madison and Hamilton. So at this point, we want to generate the package of just these four that we selected. On the bottom right, you'll see a Generate Package button, or at any time, just hit Alt-G after you've selected the authors you want to use. And on the bottom, you'll see this creating the data necessary of these four authors, a baseline on which the document will be tested against to see who's the most likely candidate. I am going to pause the audio now while this generates the package because it could take several minutes. Okay, you'll get a message when the computer's done generating the package. Package created successfully, and there's an OK button that you can click, or else you can just hit the enter button and the same thing will happen. It'll get rid of the message. Then we have to save what we just produced. To do that, you go up to the top left and there's a file button, or you can just hit Alt-F or click on the file button, and you will see three choices: an Excel file, a package file, or a raw results file. We want the package file. Almost all the time this is all that is needed. This will give you a graph result, the package. The other two will give you more detailed information. So you can either hit Alt-P or just click on package file, and it's going to ask you to save the package you just created. So we need to go into, you need to go into your computer and find a place to save your packages. I'm going to go to my place, which is A Packages, and I'm going to save it here, and you need to name it. And I'm going to name it Fed Papers, Roman numeral 1, since I might want to create other packages involving Federalist Papers, possible authors to test against, which is recommended for any test. The single test with a handful of authors is never conclusive enough. So hit enter or hit save, and this will put it into my packages so I know where that is in my computer, and I can go back to that when I'm ready to test a document. At this point, we're done with the generator package, and we're going to open the JGAP Author Quick Test. There are two things we need to enter into this in order to do a test of a document. The document itself and also what package we're using. And we'll start with the package since we just created it. At the top left, you can just hit Alt-F at this time or hit File, and then you'll have a choice of, only one choice, of Load Author Package, which is Alt-L. So you can either click on the file and then click on Load Author Package, or else hit Alt-F and then hit Alt-L. That will bring you to your computer, and again, this happened to wind up on my package file again, last used, and look for the package that you want to use. In this case, here it is, Fed Papers 1. So I'm selecting that with a double click, and it will be placed on the very top of the box saying that this is what we're using to test a particular document. And this name, Fed Papers 1, will appear on the graph that we're going to save as the results of the test we're going to do in a minute. Second step is to place the document into this folder that we're going to test, and you can either hit Alt-B at any time or hit the Browse button. Again, we are going into the computer, so I need to go into my computer. You would go into yours, and I'm going to find the document we want to use to test. In my case, I have a folder called Federalist Papers where I have all the Federalist Papers digitized properly. And let's start with Federalist Papers 1. And I put that into this package, and we have the document we're going to test, and on the top we have the package we're using to test it against. And on the right side on the top is a Run Experiment button, or you can hit Alt-R. So Run Experiment, and you will see all the documents it's processing in order to get the comparison between the baselines we created in the package and what the particular document has. And you can see it only takes a very short time on only 4 authors. And it comes up with a result that looks like Hamilton is the most likely for writing Federalist Paper number 1. And that conforms actually with the previous research on Federalist Papers that's already been done. On the left side of this box, there is a listing of percentages of each. Hamilton got nearly 56%. That's 56% of all the 17 features and the 4 methods of crunching the numbers to analyze the data. And we have 68 dimensions, and he got 56%, which is fairly strong. Any result over 40%, you have to consider that result to be a likely candidate. If it's over 50%, it's a strong indication that that's the author, especially when the other authors on the graph are below 20%. So this would indicate to me that Hamilton's a strong contender.